So today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite authors, which is Agatha Christie. Do you ever just go to Barnes& Noble and see a book you've already read, but it's a beautiful hardcover edition with this great illustration and gold pages, and you just can't resist, so you have to buy it? Well, that's what happened here. I'm not even going to talk about And Then There Were None today. Great book. Wholeheartedly recommend. One of my favorites. Read it several times, seen all the movies. If you haven't read it, go read it. I'm going to be talking about Crooked House and Endless Night. And then a third one, Body in the Library, which I rented from the library because I can't afford to buy more books. But it was really good. They're all good. So let's talk about Body in the Library first. That one is a Miss Marple story, and I love Miss Marple's because if you haven't read her stories before, she is an old gossiping lady, and through the power of her big nose and sticking herself into other people's business, she solves crimes in her little community, and she just knows human nature so well. She has her friends, the Bantrys, Colonel Bantry, Dolly Bantry, and of course, they are a rich family, and they wake up one morning and they find a body in their library, and they have no idea who she is or how she got there. Agatha Christie just wanted to play on this really common trope. Um, so it centers around this eccentric family at this hotel, and I love the vibe and all the characters. I love the way that she describes people through, yes, she describes their physical features, but she more describes their personality and the vibes they give off and what kind of person they are. And so it's very easy to picture them in your head and hear their voices. The pacing of this one was really good. I feel like it went fast. All of the evidence was presented clearly. I could follow along. I did not guess the end. I didn't guess the killer, but when everything was revealed, I was very, yes, I see it now. So, really enjoyed the plot, the dialogue, having the characters interact and each of their distinct voices. That's one of my favorite things about Agatha Christie. I also just love that time period that everything was written in. She always grows my vocabulary. Always have to look up a word, learn something new. I'm now going to use uncular to describe people. But the dialogue was, you could hear all of the voices in your head. And yeah, recommend, definitely. Would I read it again? Maybe in a couple years when I forget who the killer is. I might reread it. Otherwise, great first read. Don't know if I'll buy it or pick it up again. But so that sums up Body in the Library. The next one that I read, actually, I read this one first, but it's The Crooked House. And even though I read this one a little while ago, it is very memorable and chilling. So, there's all new characters. It's not Perot or Miss Marple's. It follows a new character named Charles who wants to marry Sophia. And Sophia is part of the Leonidas family, of course, another rich, wealthy family, and everyone wants to get their hands on Leonidas' money. And Sophia is his favorite granddaughter. And Leonidas is murdered. Sophia wants Charles to look into it and figure out who in the family might have done it. So I love like all the characters, very eccentric. They have pretty good, like they are stereotypes, but at the same time, they are distinct and interesting. The evidence and the ending, I did guess the killer, but it was very satisfying and it was very chilling in the way the ending unfolded. I would read it again, maybe soon, and go back just to be like all of the evidence that I missed before to catch it again on a second reading with the ending in mind. It's a little slow in the beginning. The ending is very worth it. So that's my recommendation for A Crooked House. And then the one I read the most recently is Endless Night. So Endless Night is very different from the other two, very different from most of her books. New characters, not Perot or Miss Marple's, and a different story overall, so much so that I was a little confused and had to even Google, does someone die in this one? Because it reads and it starts out and tells you this, that it's a romance novel. It starts with this character, Mike, and the girl that he falls in love with is named Ellie, Fernella. So it's written in first person, and I did not like Mike. It's written his point of view. He kind of irks me. His personality is not the kind of person I would want to be friends with in real life. Is kind of ingratiating, and I don't know. He just gives you an ick, which is fine because that is all intentional. Ellie was my favorite character. She's really great. One of the problems is some of the side characters are very forgettable. So there's Greta, who's Ellie's best friend. And then, of course, Ellie is very rich. Her parents are dead, her grandfather died, and her grandfather left her all this money. And so she has a bunch of distant relations that would love to get their hands on the money, of course. But even though some of them have good personalities, I don't know, the way that they're introduced, and again, it's written in first person, so part of this is intentional. They're very forgettable, and I mixed them up easily. The plot and the pacing. The plot is good. The pacing is very slow. Okay, to be completely honest, I've had about 10 interruptions since I started this video. It's a different day. But I have like 1 minute left, so I have to finish this review, and I'm not going to start all over again. All right, so back to Endless Night, plot and pacing, right? That's where I was. Very slow. One of the slowest reads I've had. The real conflict didn't start until it was almost like the last 3 chapters of the novel. It's broken into 3 parts, and then 3 is where any of the actual stuff happens. I'm usually fine with slow-paced plots and stories as long as I really enjoy the characters, the random happenings, but I felt there was a lot of stuff that wasn't really necessary. There was a lot of dialogue and conversations and details that I was like, what is the point of this? It's worse because I didn't like the POV character. So honestly, I read through as fast as I could. Are these dying? Okay, now my AirPods are dying. Let's press on. The dialogue in this was probably my favorite part. Like I said, I just love this time period and how people talk and their expressions and phrases. The end definitely pulls this book together. The end is wild. Would I recommend it? If you are okay with slow-paced novels and you can read fast through the mundane parts, the ending to me was one of the more profound in the Agatha Christie novels. It was very thematic and said a lot about just the degradation of morality and greed. Of all her novels, this one really made me think. The last couple chapters, it makes you a little sick to your stomach, but I'm glad that I pressed through and I'm glad that I read it. I would only recommend this if you set your expectations and you are able to get through this slow part. But the ending is something that will stick with me and I'll remember it. Would I read this again? Absolutely never. It was a good first read and I enjoyed it and I'm glad I did it. And I'm never going to pick it up again. Did I like it? Kinda. Was it my favorite? No. Okay, so that concludes my review of Body in the Library, Crooked House, and Endless Night. And let me know in the comments. I love the mystery genre. If you have any, now I have my toddler in the background talking to me. That's good. Please tell me your favorite Agatha Christie novels. There's so many, and I haven't read them all yet. So give me the best titles, your best recommendations for Agatha Christie, and then any other mystery authors that you really love. I am a huge fan of classics, but I'm not into new authors. So if you have any recommendations of me to branch out into the 21st century, which I rarely enter, um, let me know. Yeah, I'd love to hear. All right. Thanks.